we will start off with the video.
ตรงกลางบางจอ
ต้องเปิดชุดเนี่ยถามเมื่อเช้า
Okay guys, so that was happened to me, right? Who should I want? That was Jeffrey Peck. So basically, I was in the depression. I had depression, and then I wanted to kill myself. So, but then the CCTV caught, that I'm doing, that I'm trying to kill myself. So they sent a person to help me, as you can see in the video. But again, my face is in the video and I'm not happy about it. So let's other people talk about this.
Okay, so let's look at the timeline. Okay, Mr. Jeffrey Peck, 42 years old, was suffering from depression. He was attempting to commit suicide at Brentwood High Street with a kitchen knife. But the CCTV authorities saw him and told the police to go there. After the incident, 2 photos from the CCTV footage was published on the CCTV news article, saying defuse. The partnership between CCTV and the police prevents a potentially dangerous situation. And they publish it without masking Mr. Peck's face. And Brentwood Weekly News used a still photograph on its front page, and Mr. Peck's face isn't masked as well. Then the council provide the CCTV footage to Angelia TV to include that footage in its program about the CCTV system. Mr. Peck's face had been masked at the council oral request, but it is inadequate. And then, after this incident, Yellow Advertiser, which is a local newspaper with a circulation of approximately 24,000 copies, entitled "Gotcha" on the article. And this was their second article about this incident. And this article was about the benefits of the CCTV that fights against crime and use the same photo that they have used before. And from this news, a lot of people noticed Mr. Peck's face, including his neighbors, his families, and his friends.
The council sent the CCTV footage to the producer of Crime Beat, the crime scenes from BBC channel, but the council told BBC to mask all the faces. Peck's friend recognized and told him that he had seen him in the trailer for an episode of Crime Beat from BCC True Crime series. Mr. Peck BBC. Mr. Peck complained to BSC in relation to the Crime Beat program. BSC or the Broadcasting Standards Commission had already noted that BBC had already masked the applicant's image while broadcasting on TV. That this had not been done in the trailer due to an oversight.
Considered with masking or censoring while the program is adequate. It's like the applicant was recognized by viewers who hadn't seen that trailer. After that, BBC came to apologize to television and newspaper. Then Mr. Peck complained to ICT or the Independent Television Commission about Anglia TV. ICT considered that it cracked on Section 2, Paragraph 2 and Paragraph 5 of ICT Code and its equivalent of events and scenes in public of suffering and distress, and the mask or censor wasn't enough for him. And then Anglia TV apologized.
Mr. Peck complained to the Press Complaint Commission or PCC about the publication of a local newspaper, The Yellow Advertiser, which showed his identity without his permission. But however, the PCC refused to apologize him. This was the only media agency that refused to apologize him, and this case sparked Peck to take this case to the High Court against the BBC and the Brentwood Barrow concern. Then Peck took the case to the High Court of the UK.
Peck took the case to the High Court of UK, but it rejected the application. High Court rejected his application as it found the purpose that it was the Brentwood Borough Council was to empower a local authority to provide CCTV equipment in order to promote the prevention of crime or the welfare of victims of crime, according to Section 163 of its domestic law. Besides, the UK law didn't have a specific law of right to privacy at that time. That's why it didn't thoroughly examine whether Mr. Peck's privacy was being violated. High Court also claimed that it did not show him committing suicide. It was a dangerous situation, that's why the monitoring employee called the police to help. They did not sell the takeouts from the CCTV footage for commercial gain, and the council already required that all the faces should be masked. That's why the High Court rejected his application.
Okay, to make it easier, this is the reason why the High Court rejected Mr. Peck's application, because the Section 163, the Criminal Justice and Public Order Act 1994, it states that local authority have the power to provide CCTV equipment in order to promote and protect the protection of the crime, and also Section 101 one of the Local Government Act 1972 is that the council had a power to distribute the CCTV footage to the media transmission for like publishing and broadcasting.
The High Court allowed Peck to renew the request and correct the application to include a complaint that the disclosure was irrational. So Peck come back and claimed that the council acted irrationally in disclosing the footage with the aim of prevention of disorder or crime, but he had not been involved in any criminal activity yet. However, it was still rejected. Then Peck took the case to the European Court of Human Rights, or ECHR. The court used Article 8 of ECHR to judge Peck's case, state that everyone has the right to respect his or her private and family life. And so ECHR uses section because it's the right to respect Peck's right for his private life, both in private and public. And Article 13 of ECHR states that it makes sure that its people rights are violated, then they are able to access effective remedy. ECHR states that neither judicial review nor the UK law provided Peck with an effective remedy. And
for Article 41 of ECHR, if the court finds that there has been a violation of the protocols and if the internal law of the high contracting party concerned allows only partial reparation to be made, the court shall afford just justification to the injured party. Peck claimed that he asked for the compensation because he suffered from distress, anxiety, embarrassment, and frustration because of this disclosing. And therefore, ECHR reward €11,800 for non-pecuniary damage and €18,075 for costs and expenses.
For group opinion, we agree with the judgment of ECHR, as we think that Beck is not a not a public figure, so he should claim for his private life. Yes.
The end.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So, shall we move to the questions and feedback section?
เซ็นเซอร์แต่ว่าเซ็นเซอร์ไม่คือ
Can you use the microphone?
เซ็นเซอร์เทรลเลอร์ไม่ออกไปก่อน
คือไม่ได้เซ็นเซอร์เทรลเลอร์ แต่เซ็นเซอร์ในโปรแกรม อัดต่อนิดหน่อยหรือเปล่า
Can you pass the microphone?
Hello. Committing suicide can be judged as an offensive content.
but he didn't commit suicide
Yeah, but can be like not only his face but also his action should be censored because like this one
no,
is
this one this didn't appear in the footage
So what did appear in the footage?
his face, but like it shows him trying to kill himself, but it didn't show that he bleed his wrist.
เขายังไม่ได้กรีด but because there are the CCTV authority that watched on the screen saw him what like before he cut his wrist holding a knife and
Yeah, but holding a knife can be like offensive. What about the censorship law? Should it be censored?
So you think that not even the holding the knife alone can be an offensive scene?
I get you. But because it was shown in BBC Crime Beat TV series, so the TV series is supposed to, you know, เป็นบทเรียนเป็นแบบอุทาหรณ์สอนใจ so it's supposed to show that scene อยู่แล้ว
But okay, so maybe you can like continue discussing on that issue, but I don't think that quite related to the main issue here.
ประเทศไทยอะค่ะเขาก็เซ็นเซอร์ปืนเวลาเขาทำอะไรก็ตามเขาจะเซ็นเซอร์อุปกรณ์ทุกอย่าง
แต่ว่าต่างประเทศเขา
ไม่เซ็นเซอร์ค่ะ
That's that. I mean, they have different standards in every society.
ก็เลยถามว่าแล้วเซ็นเซอร์ชิปลองของเขาเป็นไงเขาต้องเซ็นเซอร์
Okay.
ถามว่าเซ็นเซอร์ชิปลองเลยแบบต้องเซ็นเซอร์ไหม
Is that anything related to that issue?
and we couldn't find the actual video as well so because it happened like very long time ago in 1996 like yes so we didn't have like an actual evidence about that
Maybe something that you want to research on later on. What is the standard of censorship law in UK? Do they censor some, the weapons like we do in Thailand or in other countries? Okay. Any other questions from other group? Group 2 and group 3? Or other groups? Is that hand raising? Yeah? No? Okay. We have the same one.
I have trouble understanding some of the law term and jargon in the slides. Can you explain more? Like in the last slide, the non-perm. I remember the word. Yes. And the five non-pecuniary. and there are several schools.
เป็นตัวเงินกับค่าเงินใช้เป็นตัวเงินมันเป็น
Can you explain
ภาษาไทยก็ได้
ภาษาไทยก็ได้
คือเป๊กอะตอนแรกอะมันขอค่าอะไรนะ compensation ค่าสินไหมใช่ไหมแล้วมันก็แบบขอเป็นว่าค่าที่แบบไม่เป็นตัวเงินมันแบบว่ามันรู้สึกแบบว่าอายแล้วก็แบบเครียดอะไรอย่างเงี้ยแล้วขอก็เลยให้เป็น1,800 ยูโรใช่นี่คือความหมายของมัน
No, so
ไม่มันเป็นแบบค่าเสียความรู้สึกเสียความรู้สึกอะ
so the damage in law
ค่าทำขวัญ
yeah, in that sense, in Thai sense, it is like that. But then usually when we consider the damage, we consider that, for example, if I punch your friend and your friend got sick because of that, and you need to go to the hospital, the pecuniary damage is what you paid for the hospital, right? The money that you have paid for that damage in order to recover for yourself, or if there is some property destroyed. That's the pecuniary. Non-pecuniary damage is something that you cannot measure into number in physical world. So it is only your feeling. Yeah, so your feeling, and that feeling will be measured by your status, by the situation you are. If you are a public figure, non-pecuniary damage can raise much higher than this. So that's the definition. And to be noted, in Thailand, Thai court usually do not accept the non-pecuniary damage. So they only recognize the physical or material damage, like the monetary one. Very few cases. Usually they tend not to count that because they feel that part it is non-measurable. So usually when you heard about ค่าทำขวัญ it is mostly compromise or negotiation between the parties themselves. So for example, if you pay ค่าทำขวัญ the other side will not sue you, the other side will not proceed in the litigation. So that actually, ค่าทำขวัญ in the sense of normal people, but not the ค่าทำขวัญ that the court decide to give you. Yeah, that exactly. But for this case, the court decided to give the non-pecuniary damage because it's what the feeling that's what hurted, not the other physical or material damages. Okay. Yeah, thank you for the question. Group 3, any questions? Any comments? Group 2, I'm sorry. Any? I do have some time to think. Yeah.
This group. How can I say? Like I understand the case, but it's not so clear to me about the footage. Like I have the same question with the like I don't get how like you just holding the knife is offensive, or like I mean I get that his face was sensitive stuff, but well, okay, I guess I'm just confused. I'm a little bit lost.
Yes, the point that he sued, the point that he went to the court is not about he like seeing himself holding the knife, but it's about seeing his face, about like publishing his face on the local newspaper, on the BBC, like publish his face around like on TV. So yeah, and that he was recognized. That's why he like sued.
Okay, let's put it in this way. So what if he was doing something else, not about to committing suicide? What if he was doing something else and he just happened to be to appear on that video? Would it result in the same way, or would it even cause Mr. Park to sue in the court?
Yeah, we think that it depends on the activity that he do. If it's a good thing, then he might feel like he's showing the world that he is doing something
Right.
good.
Even he,
Yeah.
for example, if he was the one who come and rescue the
Yes.
other.
And I read that he claimed that, like, he said something that he felt like because he was shown that he was killing himself, so he was afraid that his neighbors like will talk back about him, that he was a crazy guy, like who holding knife, like yeah, he was afraid that other people will look him badly. That's why.
And
Yeah.
like I mean he probably gonna be like a little bit embarrassed. I would like to know, like, after the case, do they like delete the footage, or did they do anything about the pictures that have his face on it?
Good question.
They apologized through like as we said TV and newspaper, and I think they
But the footage itself was already broadcasted, right?
So like people still have it, like no one did anything about
we
it.
couldn't find the real actual footage.
Okay, so I think it was even before we have like everything archived online. It was 1996, right? 95, okay. So, I mean, luckily that it was that age. If not today, the clip will be there forever on some video archive website. Okay, thank you for the questions. It was good questions from both of you. Any other questions? Is that hand rising? No, that was not. Okay. Something other than hand also rising there. Any other questions? Okay. So so here, isn't it? I mean, what do you think? Do you agree with the European Court? Yeah. So I mean, usually it's quite clear that someone appeared on the CCTV, and it was some scene that anyone can imagine that you don't want to be seen in such situation. And then, but he lost in the UK court, right? So why he lost there?
There is no like law that protects his privacy, right?
Because in the 2000 there was not human rights in the UK law.
Okay.
That's why he was rejected, because the actions were taken in the public space. Okay.
That's true. So then, so yeah, this is one of the history of UK human rights law actually, because in the past UK was the one. UK is a little bit different from other country that they don't have the written constitution. They are common law country, so they have everything in the traditions in their common law. So, for example, even the law that they want to be inside or outside EU, even that, they have it as common law, not the written constitution. So, and usually we find human rights law or human rights provision in the constitution, right? In every country, usually. So in UK, it's a bit hard to find the protection of human rights, even though in that situation, the UK authority defended that they have the principle to protect human rights in many laws, like in the criminal procedure or even in the civil common law idea. But then the idea like privacy is quite a new one, and CCTV is also the new technology even in that era. So there were no common law protecting people from being captured their picture in the CCTV. Though the common law or even the tort law or equity law did not protect anyone from that. So this one was one of the reasons that UK adopted the new Human Rights Act later, and that Human Rights Act implement the provisions in European Convention of Human Rights. Okay, so the other thing in your presentation that you can improve maybe the way that you understand the fact. I think you understand the law and the decision quite good already, but maybe the fact itself that which fact is related, which fact makes the court decided in this way. You might want to organize them a little bit more, and it was not well elaborated, therefore your friends did not understand quite well what happened actually in the case. But I think the analysis of the law itself is already good. Okay. Can you
เขาไม่รู้ว่าแบบ according to ethics แล้วมันเห็นหน้าไม่ได้อะไรเงี้ยคือแกบอกว่า article แรกพวก article ที่ออกมาก่อนแรกๆอ่ะมันไม่เซ็นเซอร์อะไรเลยคือมันไม่มี ethics ในตัวเองมันไม่มี self censorship ในตัวเอง
เขาขอไปแล้วปะเขาขอไป
คื
แต่
อว่า
ไม่รู้
ไอตัวไอที่เขาเป็นคนติดตั้งกล้องอ่ะคือเขาก็คงมีเอติกแหละแต่ว่าเขาอะมองในมุมที่ว่าเขาเห็นว่าเหตุการณ์เนี้ยเขาจะเอาไปเหมือนกับว่าเขาเรียกว่าอะไรเอาไปเผยแพร่โชว์ว่า CCTV อ่ะมันมีประโยชน์มากแบบว่าปกป้องคนจากการฆ่าตัวตายได้เลยนะอะไรเงี้ยอันเนี้ยคือเขาอาจจะมองในแง่ดีแต่ว่าเขาคิดไม่ถึงว่าการเผยภาพหน้านั้นอ่ะมันแบบว่ามันแบบทำลายใครอ่ะใช่แต่ตามจริงเบนวูดอะตอนที่มันเป็นคนส่งรูปไปให้ local newspaper เองเลยนะแต่ว่าคือเขาก็บอกให้มาร์กหน้าแล้วแต่ว่า
บอกเป็น oral แต่ไม่มีหนังสือใช่ไหม
แต่ว่าพวก local newspaper มันก็ไม่ได้ทำ
Oh yeah, that was I wanted to ask. So you said that they did mask his face, but it was inadequate. So how it was inadequate?
Like in the trailers, they didn't mask his face, but in the actual like TV programs, they did. But in the few like first articles, they didn't mask his face at all. Yeah, so people recognized him.
So it is not effective. So it could
Yes,
not
because
protect
it's
the
too late.
identity.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, like it might be you raise a good point in the sense that for today. It's quite common for us, right? If you want to report or if you want to use such kind of footage for the news or for even whatsoever good reason that you have, but you need to protect that person's identity, personal life. But then, I mean, back then in 1995, that might not be the very common idea of media at that time, and it was you need to remember that. In those days, those who can use camera, those who have the technology to capture people's motion or pictures were very limited. Were only some media, and they thought that they have some kind of authority to decide what is the good for public and not. But for today, when everyone have their own devices, so we have more restriction. We have the ethics is also changed. If you link to this issue to the media ethics. Okay. Any other feedback? Any other comments? Okay, you refer to the case in Thailand TV broadcasting. Yeah. So, but that's again, yeah, the Thailand TV case also raised a lot of media ethics issue, and also I think Thailand were called by GSTC, by NBTC to explain and receive the warning. I don't think it depends on the new technology. I think people have the idea, the media have the idea inside of what they should do and what they should not do. But then when you have the technology, it tests the limit, right? Okay. Yep.
อะไรนะคือเหมือนเป็นเขายื่นแบบสู้อันเนี้ยไปก่อนที่จะมีก่อนปี 2000 แต่ว่าแบบหลังจากนั้นอ่ะพอปี 2000 อ่ะมันก็ถึงมีกฎหมายเพื่อรองรับ human rights แต่ว่ามันเอามาใช้ด้วยไม่ได้เพราะว่ามันแบบมีฟอร์มไปแล้วไงมันเป็นของ EHR
ไม่มีใครใช้ ให้แบบ missing wing เลยอะ
ใช่มี
No.
ในยูโรไม่มันชนะมาจากยูโรเปียนคอร์ด
So they won because the European Court applied the idea of the right to privacy, which is inside the European Convention, and UK was the party to that. But UK didn't have the law to implement what is written in that convention. So he could not win in UK court in 1990 something. But if he went to the UK court after 2000, he would win the case from the national level, right? Okay, so good. So for your group, I think is there any dissenting opinion in this case? I'm not quite sure.
เราสัมภาษณ์วันไหน
The minority of judges who did not agree with the. Okay, no, it was unanimous. So the decision was unanimous. So every judges in the case agree that this was the violation of privacy right. So maybe you focus on the development in UK law after this case. The judgment came out because there were a lot of change in the UK law after that. So that might reflect how the human rights litigation in European level affect the national law or national protection of privacy. Okay, so thank you very much. Okay, then we have the last group. We are on a very good speed.